Hey guys, Gunham Russ back once again. Well, welcome to my new topic video being how I get through my gaming backlog. Now, for those who don't know, a gaming backlog is basically a stack of games that you have in your collection or within your house of games that you haven't completed yet. So they might be games that you're looking to complete in the near future or games you're planning to finish off in later on down the track. It could be a year away, it could be a couple of years away, but it's something that you plan on finishing later on. Now, I myself have quite a modest collection of games, and I find that every month my backlog of games continues to grow and grow and grow to a point where I'm like, oh my god, this is getting overwhelming. But guys, I have got a couple of little tips from myself that I've that I've learned over recent times to deal with my backlog and how I get through them. So with that being said, I'll go through a few of my backlog tips. Now, one of my first tips is I like to focus in on 2 games at a time. Now, at the moment I'm playing Final Fantasy 12, the remake, and I'm also playing Dragon Quest Heroes 2. Now, the reason I focus in on 2 games is purely for the fact that, when you're playing things like Dragon Quest Heroes or an RPG for that matter, you get to a point where, you've been playing for a number of hours and you get to that point where you're thinking, I'm starting to get a little bit bored and I need to probably put this down. So generally what I'll do is I'll focus on 2 games and I'll switch between that game and then I'll pick up the other game and continue on from where it was. And it gives you good reasons to do that, I guess, because you're getting to continue on with the story and it feels fresh, but you're not allowing yourself to get bored of the game. Sometimes if you play things for a long set of time, you do tend to get bored of them. Sometimes you don't, but I myself, I like to change things up a little bit. Now, that's not to say that I don't like to play a lot of short games in between. So while I'm focusing on those 2 games, I tend to play a lot of short games, and things like Pac-Man, excellent game where you can pick it up for a good half an hour or so, and you can give it a blast and you get a fair few games in. Or as you guys know, I'm a big fan of fighting games, and I can put in Mortal Kombat or Dead or Alive or Street Fighter and have a good blast in between playing my 2 big focus games. So yeah, that's one of my tips there. The other tip, guys, is if you're into handheld gaming like myself, your backlog can grow quite large with that as well. So how I deal with that is, sometimes I don't always have time to be playing my handheld games, but what I like to do, especially when I was, this is a little while back, when I was doing study and stuff, and I'd catch public transport, I would play my, PSP on the go, on the train and stuff, and I was able to, continue the same sort of process and complete a lot of games that way. And from time to time I've taken my PlayStation Vita into work and played a lot of games that way as well. So that's another good tip. I think the last big thing I like to try and do is try my best to try and make the 2 games I pick slightly different genres if I can. I'm a massive fan of RPGs, so sometimes I do play a couple of RPGs at the same time. But there is a little bit of difference between these 2 titles I'm playing at the moment. This is more of a heavy sort of JRPG, while this one is more of the hack and slash with the slight RPG elements in there, so I really do enjoy it. So yeah, there we have it, guys. Just a quick video on a couple of tips that I do to handle with my backlog. I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you guys do to handle your backlog? Leave me some comments below, I'd love to see it. As always, guys, leave me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, fools. See you later.